Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. How are we all doing? Big updates on Solskjaer, Ronaldo and Pochettino tonight. A couple of them from Fabrizio Romano, who we obviously love to listen to on this channel, and we all love in relation to transfers. But yeah, I hope you're all doing very, very well. And a few other things to talk about as well. But let's start off. So Fabrizio Romano has been talking this afternoon, speaking about this situation involving Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, we spoke about it this morning. I think one of the questions I want to talk about a little bit in this video tonight as well is, as much as it's a hypothetical, I suppose it's more realistic than Messi for Pogba. Would you be interested in doing a deal with Juventus which involved Ronaldo and Pogba swapping with a bit of money coming to us? Would you be interested in a deal like that, considering they've both got a year left on their contract? We'll talk about that in a bit, but let's have a look at let's have a little talk, because look, I've been doing this channel for a long time. I'm sure many of you have been watching it for a long time, and the community that we've got has discussed this before. Ronaldo coming back to United, we get linked to him all the time. But, so Fabrizio Romano was asked the question about Cristiano Ronaldo and the likelihood of him leaving. The funny thing is, this morning I said it would be PSG or United, and Fabrizio Romano was basically asked about PSG or Manchester United. He probably will end up going to PSG, won't he, to be honest? That's probably where he's going to end up going. But so what Romano said about Ronaldo is that Juventus have been told nothing. Now, when he left Real Madrid in that summer, he told Real Madrid 6 months before in December that he wanted to go. Juventus have not been told anything, and as far as they're concerned, he will finish his contract at Juventus and then go somewhere for free, which would mean he would complete this season and then next season. Ronaldo's on huge money. There's talk of like 30 to 60 million. I don't even know what he's on, but he's on massive amounts of money. But what Fabrizio Romano did say, there are factors to take into account here. Champions League football is very important to Ronaldo, and he wants to win the Champions League. Well, that rules United out, I suppose. But it also, you know, time is running out on his career, and if Juventus have another bad Champions League, and I'll be honest with you, he's not going to win the Champions League at Juventus. They're nowhere near good enough to win the Champions League. I mean, Ronaldo is good enough to win the Champions League if you put him into the right team, but Juventus aren't going to win the Champions League. So I wonder if in the summer, Ronaldo will be looking at options like PSG to maybe go and do that. And the second thing that Fabrizio Romano said is that the Messi factor is very important as well. So if Juventus don't look like they're going to win the Champions League, why would Ronaldo stay for another year, I suppose is the question we could ask. But also, if Messi goes to the Premier League, Ronaldo might just think, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to have a move, because I've done, how many years will it have been? Is this his second year, or is it his third? I think this is his third year in Italy, isn't it? So 3 years in Italy. Does he need to do 4 years? So look, I think with this, let's just see what happens with it. I don't necessarily know that Manchester United will do this deal. I think they should be all over it. I think it'd be a very good deal for Manchester United to do. You know, I mean, look, I've heard people saying we're only talking about doing this deal because of the situation that we're in, that we're desperate, that it's nostalgia, that we don't need to go back. I'm not going to get excited about this deal unless it happens. But what I would say is, since when is this about how we're performing on the pitch? Since when is this about nostalgia? He's still one of the best players in the world. Definitely. So why would you not want him at Manchester United? We've taken Zlatan at old age. We're taking Cavani at old age. Ronaldo's fitness levels compared to most 30-year-olds is probably better. So all right, he's 36 next year, but I don't think that's relevant. He's never really had a bad track record with injuries either. Why would you not want to do this? Why is it about what, you know, I think some people are talking about it like he's going to roll up in a wheelchair. Follow Ronaldo's career. Most of us do. Ronaldo at Manchester United would be a gift, an absolute gift. Regardless, I mean, I don't care if we won the treble. I'd still want Ronaldo at Manchester United, because he's a top class talent. This is nothing to do with Solskjaer being in charge. This is nothing to do with United failing. You'd take this player. You'd be a fool not to take this player if somebody offered it to you. You'd be an absolute fool. It's, you know, realistically, I would take him every day of the week. Please come back, says Diego Angola. Ollie in, says Dave King. Lingard is better than Ronaldo, says Prince. It would bring so much confidence back to the club, says Coach Loren. And Ronaldo instead of Sancho, says Wesley. I mean, look, the thing is, the thing about Ronaldo is we all love Bruno Fernandes, but Cristiano Ronaldo is an absolute leader. He'd be perfect. Imagine this, Ronaldo to United, Messi to City, one final derby before we see the greatest of this generation come to an end. Well, look, in a footballing sense, I would absolutely love to see that boogie beat. Absolutely love to see it. But look, let's not get carried away with ourselves. Nathan Aki's got injured, says Ihab. Joe Gomez injured as well. I want to talk about the January transfer window in a few minutes' time, actually, because I think it's going to be very important. Whether United jump in on the January transfer window or not, I think that the January transfer window is going to be a lot busier than people thought it was going to be, because I think it's the difference between winning something and finishing outside the top four for a lot of clubs. But we'll talk about that. People are getting injured, and it's only going to get worse between now and the new year. But I want to talk about what Ronaldo as captain is what we need, says Alonso. I mean, yeah, I'd give him the captaincy. I would. But City lost tonight, says Panton. If you know, you know. And Maguire is ruled out injured, says Chris Sparks. I don't know about that. But please smash a like on the video if you're watching. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to talk about Solskjaer now, because very interesting update from Fabrizio Romano on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. This was from his mouth today. Now, I did a video this afternoon. And it was something like how Pochettino would set Manchester United up if he was in charge. Some people just do not understand the concept of that video. I said it at the start. I'm Ole in, and I don't think he should be sacked. I was asked to do this video by a lot of people in our community who yesterday, when I spoke about Poch giving Manchester United an ultimatum, there was a comment in there that got loads of likes talking about doing a video about how Poch would set up. Now, I did that video because I listened to the community. A lot of people replied to that video saying this is really disrespectful. To be honest with you, I don't really give a shit. Because I listen to the community. If you don't understand what I think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being manager of Manchester United, which I think he should be, and if you don't understand that this was a hypothetical situation to look at the pros and cons of what Pochettino would bring to this club, if you're not clever enough to watch that video and make your own mind up about Pochettino, then I'm not going to make any apologies for it. I did not say in that video, get Pochettino in. And in fact, if you watch the video, it talks about the way Pochettino plays football and how that might be a little bit problematic in the first few months with the players that we've got. So if you're not intelligent enough to watch that video and see that that video was about what Pochettino would bring to Manchester United, pros and cons, it's got sod all to do with not backing the manager. And I don't think anybody who watched that video would interpret it as that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should still be in his job. He shouldn't be sacked, and I've said that many times. Now is not the time to do it. It might happen in the future. I still think it's the long goodbye, but it might not be Pochettino who gets the job. But I thought it was quite interesting to look at, because he's been a Premier League manager at two clubs, Southampton and Spurs, it's quite easy to predict the formation he would play and how he would do it and the sort of players that he likes. And that video is on the homepage if you want to watch it. But of more interest is what Fabrizio Romano has said about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'll cry if Cristiano comes. We will be too emotional, says Sharab. I would love to see him at the club. Now, Fabrizio Romano spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and if you take what he's saying as gospel, then there is no danger of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked. He basically said that Manchester United, Solskjaer is in control of the situation, and Manchester United are planning ahead long term with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So there's not much prospect of anything happening, and he is the man that Manchester United are going to stick with, and this is coming from Romano. So differing stories out there, but I certainly think the situation with Manchester United is that they're firmly with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's got an opportunity after the international break to build on that confidence, and he's got some big games. Leipzig and PSG and Manchester City all before Christmas could be defining for our season, and as a result of that could be quite defining for him. But Solskjaer is the coach at the moment, and that is the way it is, and that's the way I think it should be, and I think a lot of people agree with that. A lot of people don't agree with that. But as I said on Sunday morning after the win over Everton, I'm actually happy with the situation with Manchester United at this moment in time. I'm happy with it because Ole's got pressure. He's under pressure. He's under pressure from the fans, and he's under pressure from the fact that there's a very good manager who wants his job. He's under pressure. He's got to keep winning. You're very rarely in a situation in football where you know if your manager fails, there's another good one to come and take his place. So as fans, we're in a good situation here because if Ole messes it up, he'll get sacked and another manager will come in. If Ole responds to that pressure like he has done in the past and starts winning games, then we're going to benefit, because I tell you what, that Premier League season is wide open. But Fabrizio Romano said, look, the club are with Ole long term. Ole's in control of a lot of things in that club, and that's the way it is. And he also said, which I agree with as well, he mentioned the Sancho deal, and he said, look, Solskjaer told the club that he wanted Sancho 8 months ago. 8 months they were working on that deal, and they didn't get him. If that club has any semblance of loyalty or empathy, they will know that that's on them. That you know, they were told by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go and get me that player, and that player will make a big difference to our next season. They didn't deliver that. So surely they've got to take that into account somewhere, that in any decision they make, they are to blame partly for not delivering the centre-back and the right winger. So look, there may well be a sympathy vote, or not a sympathy vote, an empathy vote from the board, that they appreciate that they contributed a lot to as being unprepared for this season. Premier League should reintroduce the 5 sub rule. We're crap without it, says FCB forever. Ronaldo and Haaland, old and young, success together, says Stain. And Ronaldo ain't coming, says Julian Sanchez. And I've been pining for my Ronnie ever since he left, says Darren Talbot. I would love Cristiano Ronaldo to come back to Manchester United. I've always said this on this channel. I would love it to happen because nostalgia or not, football to me is romance. As I said this morning, we're only here once. To see Ronaldo back in a Manchester United shirt, that would just be perfect, absolutely perfect. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. Manav said Ronaldo would be great, but will it? Mate, it would. I mean, it wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to give him any more than 2 years, but it would be great. What are the What Mark Cruz 23 says? Mark, what are the coach options if Ollie does get the sack next year and Poch is not available? Well, this is the next story I wanted to talk about, and this is coming from Marca in Spain, and they're basically saying that Atletico Bilbao are looking at Pochettino because they're about to sack their manager. So things are going to change. I spoke about this, I can't remember when I said this, but this is, this situation that I'm comfortable with isn't going to last forever. Pochettino's not going to be waiting in the wings forever. If Ollie keeps winning and United don't make a change, Pochettino will go somewhere else very, very soon. So Pochettino's not going to be available forever, and with Bilbao looking at him, he might be off the cards completely. And I think if he comes off the cards completely for Manchester United, then we are going to be looking at a situation whereby I think we'd have to wait till the end of the season. And you'd be looking at maybe someone like Nagelsmann. Hi Mark, Ronaldo playstyle suits Ollie's vision with wingers with pace and quality. Fans need to understand we need more players to be more stable. Thank God we have Tellez instead of Williams, says Chelsea. Exactly. As I said, I'm very disappointed that Luke Shaw is injured. But good news is that Marcus Rashford's not injured. And he's actually teaming up with England tomorrow, I think. Having injured his shoulder, he's well enough to go back and play with England. So that is good. Does the coaching team need tweaking? I like Carrick, but they are young. I think a Mullenstein or a Querez would be a good move to bring in, says Matthew Williams. See, I don't think Mullenstein is the right person to go for. I mean, what has he done in football since he left Manchester United? Very little. I mean, I think this trip down memory lane, this mates rate thing needs to stop happening at Manchester United. Like, there's not many clubs that do the old boot room thing anymore. Liverpool used to do it in the 80s. Manchester United seem to be trying to do this now. Oh, let's get our mates in. Let's get Kadaki. Let's get McCanna from the youth setup. Let's get Mickey Phelan back. I know, I've got an idea. Let's go and recruit one of the best coaches in the world from one of the best clubs in the world. Let's go and get one of the best director of footballs from one of the best clubs in the world. Why don't we do that? Why don't we treat our coaching staff like we treat our playing staff and go and recruit the best? Why do they have to have played for Man United? Why do they have to have trained or coached Manchester United? Why do we need this bloody trip down memory lane and mates rates? We don't need it. We don't need Mullenstein and Querez. Let's go and get a good coach. I mean, one thing I applaud Spurs for, and Mourinho's had a new lease of life for it, is that if you remember with Mourinho, when Rui Faria left, we finished second in the league. Rui Faria left and Mourinho fell apart and was sacked by Christmas. Now, it wasn't all because of that, but it's easy to see that there was an issue because of that. He lost his assistant coach. When he went to Spurs, Rui Faria didn't go with him. He brought in the guy from Lille, and the team plays a different way. Mourinho has evolved. He's not just a part of the bus manager now. In fact, they're quite expansive and they're quite quick on in their transition from back to front, which he wasn't at United. So Mourinho and Spurs have taken a manager and then taken an assistant manager from Lille, and they've never worked together before, put them together, and it works. And I think so much of what Spurs did in the transfer window this year as well worked. I think the way Spurs have worked over the last few years has been very good, but the way they've worked under Mourinho has been very, very good. And that, to me, is the prime example. Why can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not be given an assistant manager from Monaco or from, Celtic or Leverkusen? a very good assistant coach to work with. Why does it always have to be, oh, me mates, we used to room in the 90s? You know, get good people into the position. That's not going to happen, by the way. There's no way we're going to get rid of Carrick or McKenna or Phelan. Should we sweeten the deal by offering Ronaldo a coaching position after his contract ends, says Shyam Kartik. Mate, I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is going to retire until he's 40. I think he'll keep playing, mate. I don't think... He's only 36. He's only 36. He'll be 36 in February. He'll play for another 4 years. He will play for another 4 years. So, you know, he might come to United for 2 years and then go somewhere else. Van der Beek playing number 10 today, apparently. Your Twitter notifications must be going off, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. I'll just ignore it, mate, because, he can play as an attacking midfielder, but he can also play as a box-to-box midfielder and as a CDM. Which CDM as single pivot in 4-3-3 for us, says Marco Gianni. Well, we haven't really got one. I think Matic is the one, but whether we can still do that anymore, I don't know. Zlatan still scoring at 39, says Paul Robinson, and that's just in the bedroom. I joke. Ronaldo has the body age of someone in their prime. He will be playing pro football until his early 40s, says HD Gaming. I genuinely think that with Cristiano Ronaldo, he wants to play into his 40s. He wants to be a player that can do that. Now, look, he keeps himself very, very fit. I do remember a story about Ronaldo and Rooney when they were like 19 or late teenagers, early 20s. And there's a story about Rooney and why Rooney's career dived at like 28. And one of the coaches who coached them at Manchester United said you could see the difference. Ronaldo, as a young lad, was dedicated to football. The way he kept his body, his physique, his diet, everything. You know, the way he trained. All the way through his career, he's done that. And Rooney, probably not. You know, he used to drink and smoke in the summer and stuff like that, didn't he? So look, Ronaldo's looked after himself, and you know, barring a really bad injury, I think he will just keep playing and playing and playing. Ronaldo returned to Ollie to go back to Super Sub, says. God, I can't read that name. Ronaldo is what we need. We can't always talk about youth. We need teachers in the team too, says Progressive Dad. And I actually think it's others, managers, that will give us more success than Poch. No trophies, always a bad year before sack at all three clubs. We should look at Salzburg and Jesse Marsch instead, says Chelsea. And you know what? That's something I've always said. Do you think Ollie gets beyond Christmas, says Achint? Yes, I do. I think I do. And that feeds nicely into the other one as well. I've always been... One of the good things about doing that video this afternoon about how Poch would set Manchester United up is it just portrayed to me my issue with Pochettino at United is that I like him. He's a good coach. If he gets the job, I'll back him. But he's never won anything. The Champions League run was good, if not fortuitous, and you do need fortune. And he will get you top four consistently. But is he a Pep? Is he a Klopp? I don't think he is. I think he's a very good coach, but I don't think he's going to be that. If he gets the job, I will back him because that's what you've got to do. But I've always said, rather than taking Mourinho from Chelsea when he got sacked or Pochettino from Spurs when he got sacked, why can Manchester United not try and do what we've not done yet? You know, we've tried the Mourinho style, you know, somebody else's coach who they don't want anymore. We've tried the old head in Van Gaal. We've tried the ex-player in Solskjaer. And we've tried the Premier League manager in Moyes. Could we not try the up-and-coming star now? You know, the Nagelsmann. You know, someone like that. Can we not get a coach who is still on the evolution train? A bit like we're trying to do with the playing staff, like with Bruno and Wan-Bissaka and Van der Beek. Bringing players in who are ready to take that step up. Could we not try that with a coach next? And I know Nagelsmann's the obvious one, but there are other coaches out there. And I would like United to try that next, you know. But we might not need to try that next. I mean... The best thing that could happen is that Solskjaer works. That's the best thing that could happen because there's no disruption. There's no having to be in the Europa League next year. Because mark my words, if we change our manager, they won't do it until it's too late. United, we don't do what Barcelona and Real Madrid and PSG do. We don't sack a manager to prevent what's coming, you know, to try and rescue a season. We'll always wait till it's too late. And people say, well, we sacked Mourinho in December. We did. But really, we were out the top four race then. It was only an amazing run by Solskjaer that nearly got us there. And then we still didn't do it. It was like we sprinted to catch up and then we had nothing left. So we don't sack managers until the writing's on the wall. So I don't want to be back in the Europa League next year. So I hope Solskjaer does work. Ronaldo to United will lift the team. Winning mentality. Plays well with Bruno, says Cruz23. Holland playing Donny at 10. Why do managers keep playing him there if he's not a number 10? I think United old boys at our club now are now... I think United old boys are at our club now to bring back the DNA, says Ash G. No, look. I've never said he's not a number 10. I've never said he's not a number 10. But what I've said is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to think he can only be in playing Bruno's position. And that's bullshit. Like, his career, he's played in numerous positions. Box to box, primarily on the right-hand side. He can play as a number 10, and maybe that is his best position. But you want to get Bruno and Van der Beek in the same team. Funnily enough, Pochettino would do that the way he plays, but we're not talking about that. So, look, Van der Beek can play at number 10. It arguably is one of his best positions, but he can play in other positions. And to me, it's just bloody stupid to have Bruno and Van der Beek never playing together as a backup. So we've got a £35 million backup to Bruno, and yet we've got average players starting. He's got to find a way. Hassan Hult is a dark horse for the United job. Southampton are one of the best chance creation and pressing teams in Europe, says Dylan Taylor. Southampton recruit a lot of good coaches. They do, and he is a good coach, and he is Premier League proven. I wouldn't mind him because that's what Spurs did, isn't it? They took Pochettino from Southampton. So why would we not do that? But I don't think we would. I think the one thing about Woodward and the Glazers is that they always want the shiny, obvious toy, don't they? And that's what they do. And they react. Why am I seeing people laughing at the Southampton manager? He's 10 times better than Ole, says exclusive UKD. I think he's a good coach. I do. Yeah. Does anyone know if Ighalo still plays for us? Yeah. Well, yeah, probably not for much longer. He's off in January. Bank on Pogba and get Ronaldo. I think that's a steal, says Angry. And Oliver Doyle says, Mark, exact words many times, he's not a number 10. No, that's not what I've said. I haven't said that. There may well be a clip where I say he's not a number 10. Because what I'm saying is, and I've always clarified it, is that people think he's a number 10. He's not a number 10. He's a number 8. He's a number 10. He's a number 6. He can play in numerous positions because he's an Ajax player, and that's what they do. And when you look at the Ajax system, they don't play with a number 10 most of the time. So how can you say Donny van der Beek's a number 10 when he's come from a club that doesn't really play a number 10? That's what I was saying. He can definitely play there. And you could make a statement that in the United team, his best position may well be where Bruno plays. But everybody acts like it's the only place he can play. And he fucking can't. He can play in loads of positions. That's what I'm saying. So when I say he's not a number 10, I'm trying to say, and obviously there are idiots out there who don't understand what I'm saying, is that he's played mostly in a different position to a number 10. He can definitely play number 10, but to say he's a number 10 is wrong, because I don't think of Donny van der Beek and go, oh, he's a number 10. I mean, for God's sake, when we've spoken about Donny van der Beek over the last 18 months, people have talked about him being a CDM. That's how many positions he can play. For me, Donny van der Beek is a number 8. That's his position. Box to box. That's his position. But look, we've all got an opinion. We've all got an arsehole. Ollie could give us trophies. You don't sack your girlfriend because you think she would cheat. The proof is in the future. Look at what he did with Sir Alex. We believed in him even with bad runs, says Chelsea. I don't think he can have any more bad runs though, Chelsea. I think enough is enough. If we go on another, I think I don't know what you think on this, but I think if he has another bad run, enough's got to be enough, hasn't it? And I think it will be. He can't keep having bad runs and having dips. He's got to get, it's not, you can't finish third and then have a season where you finish fifth. That's not progression. That's not improvement. So I think everyone would agree with that. I'm sure Ollie knows Van der Beek can play deeper, but if Bruno and Van der Beek both need a rest, no one can play 10, and Ollie has built his offence around a number 10, says Paulie B. Yeah, well, I sort of agree with that, Paulie, but I think what I would say is it's an absolute disgrace how Solskjaer has treated Donny van der Beek since the start of the season. When you look at those first few games of the season against Palace and Spurs and Brighton, our team wasn't fit. Pogba had literally just come back from COVID. Bruno had barely had a summer. Donny van der Beek hadn't played football since March and was fully fit, and we didn't give him any game time. So, he's not used this player. He's not used this player correctly at all, and he needs to use him better because he's not just a number 10. He can play numerous positions, as he's already proven for United. He came on against Newcastle for half an hour, played with Bruno and played bloody brilliantly. But Ollie just seems to want to use him as an alternative to Bruno, which to me is stupid when you're giving game time to Dan James and Juan Mata. He's better than both those players, and they've played with Bruno. So why? I think what the frustration is with everybody is we want to see this 4-2-3-1, and we want to see Donny van der Beek as the right-sided attacking midfielder next to Bruno as the 10. And they can interchange like Mata and Bruno do. I think that's where we need to see Donny van der Beek. But he will get game time, and you know why he will get game time as well? I'll tell you this for free. Can you watch this Twitter video I sent you? Josh I8. I'll have a look, Arjun. He will definitely get game time. Frank de Boer was talking about this as well. Van der Beek is definitely going to get game time. Do you want to know why he's going to get game time? And I want to talk about this. The Premier League is becoming decimated. Somebody said a few minutes ago about that, we need to play with 5 substitutes. And I think we do. I mean, look, Liverpool's title race, I'm sure as United fans, we all feel the same. Oh dear. That's bad. I don't wish injury on anyone. I think it's really sad what's happened to Van Dijk. To me, he's the best centre-back in the world. I don't want to say that because he plays for Liverpool, but he is. And to be out for a year and lose a year of your career or 8 months or a season, it's not good. They've also lost Fabinho. They've now lost Joe Gomez. So Liverpool are in massive problems, and it's only the start of November. The Christmas period happens before January. It's breaking news. Christmas is before January, but it is. And it's only going to get worse. People are picking up injuries because we had a very intense end to a season, a very short break, and then straight back into a full season where people are playing every 3 days. So there's going to be a lot of injuries. This was always going to happen. And Manchester United are going to get them. Luke Shaw is the first of what we're going to get many. There will be more injuries. So Donny van der Beek will get game time. Pure and simple. Martial shooting blank, says Cruz23. And the proof is in the pudding. This could be his last pudding, but I think he would get more ingredients before the time runs out. I'm sure, Mark, says Chelsea. Let's hope so. Had friends suggest, say, St. Maximin from Newcastle. Opinions, please, says David, not David. Dave, not David. I like St. Maximin. I like Adama Traore. Pick one of them. I do feel that Sancho's becoming more and more unlikely. I mean, look, to be honest with you, on the Jadon Sancho thing, if Jadon Sancho is going to cost you £100 million and you could get Cristiano Ronaldo and St. Maximin instead, I know what I'm going to do. Jerome Boateng and Javi Martinez are available for free next summer. Would you take a chance on them? I would not go near Jerome Boateng. He is a donkey. He is so slow. He would get annihilated in the Premier League. I wouldn't go anywhere near him, Eric. No way. Not for me. But this leads nicely into the January transfer window, because I think a lot of people, including you, have said, and I, that United won't do any business in January. Now, logically, nobody should be doing any business in January because the transfer window only closed at the end of September and it opens at the start of January for a month. Like, the gap between that transfer window is very, very small. Considering last season's transfer window closed at the start of August, that's 5 months to January. This is a 3-month gap. But I'm telling you now, business is going to have to be done in January. There might be a lot of loans. There might be some pre-contract deals. There might be some cheap deals. I think the January transfer window is going to be like no other January transfer window, because COVID will have hit clubs. They've got no fans in the ground. Deals can still be done cheaply, but clubs aren't going to have a lot of money to spend. You look at Liverpool, the difference between getting in a title race and finishing third is going to be whether Liverpool do any business in January. They are decimated, and a lot of their injuries aren't going to be back. And the scary thing for someone like Liverpool is Fabinho, Gomez, Van Dijk, all out long term. What happens if Mane and Salah get something as well? They don't have great squad depth. So Liverpool can just about get by at the moment, but if they have a couple of more injuries, which they will, they're in real trouble. Now bring that to Manchester United. Luke Shaw's out. We need Telles to stay fit. We're going to get more injuries. And I think you're going to have a situation in January. I mean, this is just my observation. I don't know what everybody else thinks. But this is going to be the same for a lot of clubs. I think the only club that looks in a good position, and look, they may be dark horses to win the title, is Chelsea and potentially Spurs, because they've got very big squads and their new signings seem to be really integrating well. Manchester United and Arsenal's and everybody else, The difference between not doing business in January and doing some business in January could be the difference between finishing 3rd and 6th. Like, I don't see Leicester hanging around. I don't see Wolves hanging around. I don't see Everton hanging around. I mean, they haven't got the squads. And when they pick up their 3 or 4 injuries like everyone's going to do, they're going to start plummeting. There's going to be a lot of points up for grabs. But from Manchester United's point of view, I think we need to be hot on the January transfer window because we don't have a lot of centre-backs. If Harry Maguire gets injured, you're going to have to play Twan Sebi and Lindelof. And then if Bailly comes back and gets injured again, what we're going to do, play Rojo or Jones. You become a very disjointed team very quickly in this season. And look, just look at it. Look at it. When we come back from the international break, and consider it, this is the same for everybody though, it's not exclusive for Man United, I'm not saying that. But when we come back from the international break, and a lot of our players are playing 3 games in 2 weeks, this is the thing for me. Wouldn't you take Grealish? I would. He's a creative winger, he can put a cross in, says Matthias Helmrich. Oh, I definitely would, mate. Definitely would. But the international break really brings home the issue of this season. When we come back from the international break, we play weekend, midweek, all the way until, I think it's like, if you get to the Carabao Cup semi-final, I think it's all the way till pretty much, I think it could be till March. I don't know whether there's a midweek off until March. Everybody is playing weekend, midweek, right? But if you're an international, you normally go and have 2 weeks and you play 2 games. The last 2 international breaks, there's been 3 games. England are playing tomorrow night, Sunday and Wednesday. So if you're Harry Maguire or Rashford, you could play 3 games on international break, come back, play Saturday against West Brom, midweek against Istanbul, weekend against Southampton, midweek in the Champions League again. It's relentless. It's bloody relentless. And players are going to get injured. But bringing it to Manchester United, the January transfer window is really important because if you bring a couple of players in, and what I'm saying here is as well is, are there any players you can bring in that aren't playing as much as everyone else is playing? You know, they might come in fatigued as well. But I think we're going to see a really weird season. And it's probably one season where that international break would have been really, really useful that they've got rid of, haven't they? We are putting out, the players are being put on, I mean, they earn the money. And I'd love to be doing what they're doing. And I think we all would. So I'm not going to sympathise too much. But they are having to pack in a lot of football. And the January transfer window could be key. And from a Manchester United point of view, I'm telling you now, if we don't do business and we pick up a lot of injuries, you lose Rashford, you lose Martial, who's playing up front, Cavani and Dan James. So we do need to do business in January, just like a lot of other clubs do. So I hope that we are looking to do some business in January. Now, if we do business in January, it shouldn't just be a January signing, but like what business can you do? But I do see a lot of clubs having bad seasons because of squad depth caused by fatigue injuries, which are, the worrying thing about a lot of these injuries, they're not niggles. When you look at Luke Shaw's hamstring, you look at the injuries to Gomez, you look at Aki today, he looks quite bad. You look at, obviously Van Dijk, hamstring for Fabinho. These injuries that people are picking up are nasty injuries as well. I ate the Pochettino video up. Thank you for that. Would love one on Ollie, even though he changes it constantly compared to what you would do, says Daniel Luciano. I'm more than happy to do a video. I mean, look, the video on Pochettino I did today, do watch it. It's out there. It's basically how Pochettino would set Manchester United up. I will do an Ollie one, how Ollie should set United up and how I would. It's always interesting when I'm reading what I'm writing. We already have Cavani, so Ronaldo doesn't really make sense, says Mr. Pineapple Hero. You know what that's like saying? We already have Cavani, so we don't. Why Ronaldo doesn't make any sense? It's like saying we've already got some flat lemonade in the cellar, so why would I want a bottle of champagne? Unless you're teetotal. I mean, the difference between Ronaldo and Cavani is the difference between Kevin De Bruyne and James Ward-Prowse. Like, James Ward-Prowse is a very good player, but Kevin De Bruyne is way better. So, look, And also, I did, although, to be fair to Pineapple Hero, I did say that I don't think I said this morning, I don't think we'll get Ronaldo because of the Cavani deal. I mean, we've basically done a Poundland Ronaldo deal, haven't we? We've took an old player, we've given him a number 7 shirt, and we've given him loads of money. And and we were desperate to do that, and it might cost us any deal of Ronaldo now because we've gone with the Cavani deal. FA should have scrapped the FA. The FA should have scrapped the FA and League Cup this season, says Dave, not David. And apart from injuries, the constant threat of COVID, says Sarab Chowdhury. And Mark will have a clear out in January with Jones, Rojo, Romero, Lingard being moved on. Will help a little with the budget, sign players. Moreover, Regalo will be gone, says Mojo. Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to be short. We're going to be short, and I think it's not something to worry about at the moment. But mark my words, this will hit United because our fitness department's crap. It's been crap for about 10 years. So we will, don't laugh at Liverpool because it's coming for us. We are going to have this same issue where we're going to start picking up injuries and you're going to start seeing, people playing a lot of games. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Juan Mata picks up an injury. He's not used to playing this much football. And the older players like Matic, I think they're more susceptible. Do you think Grealish can play right wing? I want him in January. He was one of the fastest this season, 35 kilometres per hour, and he's a leader, says Matthias. I don't think you can get Grealish in January when he's just signed a new contract. No, I don't. I mean, Twan Sebi can play CDM, says Michael. I mean, Twan Sebi's another player I expect to get injured as well. He's been out for a year. There's normally a secondary injury at some point. We've got Jones, Rojo, Bay in reserves. Should we get injuries, says Abdul. Yeah, they'll last about 5 minutes. And Oliver Doyle says, spot on. Every year we question our fitness and medical department. I mean, look, at the moment, fingers crossed and touch wood, we're doing all right. But I look at what's happening at Liverpool and other clubs, and I think that's only round the corner for us. As for COVID, I mean, that is a risk. It's a very big risk, and you can lose players for that, and it can be quite debilitating after they've had it. I mean, Pogba's took weeks to recover from it and get his fitness levels back. But I do think the world is changing around COVID. Thank God. I do think as we go into 2021, we will get fans. I think we're going to get fans back in the ground by February. I know that sounds really optimistic, but I do. I think there will be fans back in the ground by February. And remember when we had the lockdown in March, I remember having Robbie on the show and he was like, no, I don't think football's going to happen until October again. And I said, I can see it happen in June, July. So, I do think that things will move quickly, just like it did getting football back. I do think we're going to see things changing quickly in the new year. I do think we're going to see fans back in the ground. And I do think footballers will be one of the first people to get vaccinated because it's such big business to players and to clubs that they will say to players, look, we don't want you catching this and missing games when other clubs are doing it. Now, whether people want to do it or not, I don't know. The Euros are going to be terrible. Everyone will be knackered, says Mark Dobby. I think that's a great point. I mean, it's not United related, but I think it's a great point, Mark. I don't see the Euros being very exciting at all. It's going to be really hard. And as Sid T says, it's a relentless schedule, is why Ollie keeps changing his team every game. Unfortunately, we don't have a squad like Man City where any midfielder is flexible, says Sid T. I don't agree with that. I think it's a very easy excuse to use and it could well be the truth, but I don't think that is why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is changing his team. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer changes his team because he's a tinkerman. I think he did it at Cardiff. I think he changes his team because he tries to be clever for every game. You're telling me that we beat Leipzig 5-0 at Old Trafford with the diamond and then 4 days later you play Arsenal and you change your diamond. Like you move Fred to CDM and then you play McTominay box to box. That's not about resting people. That was just a stupid tactical decision and it cost us the game. So I think, Ollie needs to own some of the bad decisions he's made. I'm very excited about football coming back next week and I'm very excited about what we can achieve. But we do need to start picking a team that's capable of... Look, I really do believe that Man United can get top 4 again this season. And I didn't think that a couple of weeks ago. But I think that because so many people are dropping points and because so many teams are tired, results that you don't expect to happen are happening. We've got a massive squad. We've got one of the biggest squads in the league. Now, if people like Mata and James are getting game time, that means people like Matic and Pogba and Van der Beek aren't. Which means that, when they do get their game time, because people like Mata and James get tired, they'll hopefully grab it. Let me answer this question. This is the one that people are asking about, and I want to get involved in this. Mark, I'm celebrating Liverpool not equalising our titles just yet, says Amit. They have Fabinho and Thiago coming back after the break, according to their journos. And Aki is now injured for Holland, says Amit S. I mean, Fabinho's a fantastic centre-back as a cover as well, and Thiago's a great player. So I think Liverpool are very much going to be in the race. But I guarantee Liverpool will pick up another injury. Yeah, I think they will. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, and subscribe if you're new. Remember, we're live every night at 8 o'clock. Every day at 10 a.m. and we've got content going out for you in the afternoons at the moment, sort of different content. I enjoyed that Pochettino video today, even though apparently it was Ollie out shit, which it wasn't. But from one controversial topic to another, I did say at the start of the video I would answer this question, and I want everyone else to answer it. I'm gonna put a hypothetical here. So in the summer, Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo have got 1 year left on their contract. In the summer, Paul Pogba has a season. He's just come off this season, the same as every other one. Some good games, some inconsistent games. Just standard Paul Pogba at United over the last 4 years. Next summer, Juventus come to Manchester United and say, we will let you have Cristiano Ronaldo if you give us Paul Pogba, and we will give you 20 million as well. Would you do that deal? Or would you do a straight swap? A 36-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo for a 28-year-old Paul Pogba. Both with 1 year left on their contract. Ronaldo's wages are going to be more than Pogba. So would you do the deal? And massive amounts of yeses. Although Elliot says, hell no. You know what I would say on this? I absolutely love Cristiano Ronaldo. And the romance of bringing him back is just irresistible. But everything logical says you don't swap a 28-year-old for a 36-year-old. You just don't. You don't do that. And you don't do that. But I'm not logical. This is Manchester United Football Club. And I think Paul Pogba would like to go to Juventus. I think Cristiano Ronaldo would like to come to Manchester United. I think Cristiano Ronaldo would be more consistent in a Manchester United shirt than Paul Pogba. I think he'd be more of a leader than Paul Pogba. And I think we'd get more out of Cristiano Ronaldo over the next 2 years than we're going to get out of Paul Pogba. So I think Paul Pogba's going to leave. I think the big reason why I would say yes is I think Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United, and he's going to go in the summer anyway. So would you rather take 50 million from Real Madrid for Pogba, or would you rather take Ronaldo from Juventus for Pogba? And for me, that's the point. That's the point. It's not even would I swap Pogba for Ronaldo. It's about Pogba's going to go anyway. So yes, I would swap Pogba for Ronaldo. To me, Paul Pogba is an amazing talent, but he's not fulfilled that talent consistently at Manchester United. And I've always said this: you could have. Imagine Man United have got Raphael Varane. I've got to choose. Let me. I've got to choose between prime Sergio Ramos or prime. Who's a really good centre back, but not as good as Sergio Ramos. So prime Sergio Ramos. Or, well, no, I'm thinking about this wrong. Right, okay. So you could have Sergio Ramos for 20 games of the season, or you could have, I'm trying to think of a decent. You could have. This is not as good as I thought. Okay, let's do it another way. You can have Kevin De Bruyne for 20 games in a season, or you can have James Ward-Prowse for 60 games in a season. I'm going to take... This is the best one, actually. So you can have Kevin De Bruyne for 20 games, or you can have James Ward-Prowse for 60. I'm going to take James Ward-Prowse for 60. Kevin De Bruyne is the better player, but if he can only play a third of a season, I need someone there for the whole season. So this is the thing. I think with Cristiano Ronaldo, you're going to get somebody who's there every game of the season performing. Whereas with Paul Pogba, you're going to get 20 games a season. And that's been proven over the last 4 years. It's not always about going for the better talent. It's about going for the player that's going to be on the pitch more. And look, a lot of people think Eric Bailly is our best centre-back. I don't get excited about Eric Bailly anymore, because even if he comes back and has a brilliant game, I know in 2 or 3 games time he's going to get injured. I'd rather have someone not quite as good as Eric Bailly, but plays every week. You've got to get players on the pitch. And I think with Ronaldo, the consistency compared to Pogba would be at a different level. So we'd get more out of that. And also we'd get more, and therefore we'd get more leadership from that. Ollie in, and I found the video interesting, says Daniel Luciano. Mate, it's just, to be honest, that video I did this afternoon about Pochettino, if people think that's an Ollie out video, then football's not for them. It really isn't. It's not an Ollie out video. It's about what Pochettino would bring to Manchester United. And for every pro, there's quite a few cons as well. So it's well worth watching. 20 games is optimistic for Pogba, says Jake. Ronaldo should end his career, swap in a heartbeat. Ronaldo is a homecoming legend. Pogba can't polish Ronnie's boots. I mean, look, to me, it's not about disliking Pogba and loving Ronaldo. That's not what it's about. I like Paul Pogba. I actually think Paul Pogba's going to have a good season at United. I think hopefully he can get a few games on the international break, get his fitness back, and get his place back in the team. And I think he's going to be a good player for United. I think he is a good player for United, but consistently, I don't think he wants to be here, and consistently, he just can't perform as much as someone like a Bruno can. So, yeah, I think I would go with Ronaldo on that one. Would I take Ronaldo over Sancho? No. I wouldn't, because I think, it's close between Pogba and Ronaldo, because you've got to be logical. In Jadon Sancho, you're buying a 20-year-old. A 20-year-old who could be at your club for 12 years and can get a lot better. With Cristiano Ronaldo, you're buying a fantastic world-class talent, but he's only going to be there 2 or 3 years. So I think with the Sancho one, you've got to evolve. Pogba's different. He's 28. He is he's had 4 years here as well. Ronaldo and Sancho, you're talking about 2 players coming to a club. What are they going to do at that club? With Pogba, we know what he's done, so it's a bit different. Did Man United hold formal talks with Upamecano, says Irfan? I don't know, mate. I don't know. And would you have Rooney back? No, I think Rooney is playing his age now, to be honest. But I'd love to see Ronaldo at Manchester United. I'd love to see Messi at Man City. I think that would be amazing to see that. City would be better than us, wouldn't they? Because they've got a better squad. And manager. Dan James has the leadership ability, the shooting, the dribbling and the pace of the ideal Man United player. We need to win the league, says Mr. Beast. Sarcasm. And Rooney is past it, unfortunately, yeah. Sancho hasn't reached his peak and has so much more to come, whereas Ronaldo has already achieved it, says Anish. And who would you rather have, Upamecano or Alaba, says Justin Diaz. Well, I think most people are going to say Upamecano, but the interesting thing about Alaba is... if you think about Thiago Silva, I think Thiago Silva is 33 or 4. David Alaba's 28 or 29, and he's left-footed, and we need a left-footed centre-back. So I probably would go Alaba. I'm sort of changing my opinion, really, because I always said that we shouldn't be going for older players, but I do think that squad lacks so much leadership. It almost needs a couple of players like that. Only Liverpool and City fans are saying no Ronaldo, says Tariq, and... Mark, what number will Cavani take if Ronnie comes back? Says Matthew. Well, I think we're running away with ourselves. I don't actually think it's going to happen, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Thiago Silva is actually 36, apparently. So there you go. You can be done. Would you rather bring back Tevez or Makeda? Says Arturo Venegas. Are either of them even still playing? That's the thing. And I think United should go for Ndidi or a proper CDM, says Venomous. And it is an interesting one. Avi says, all right then, Lingard for 50 games or Bruno for 15 games. Yeah, but the difference between Lingard and Bruno is massive. James Ward-Prowse and Kevin De Bruyne is a little bit different. They're a little bit closer. One's fantastic, but one's very, very good as well. Lingard and Bruno, we know that difference is huge. So I would probably take 15 games of Bruno, to be fair. Would you maybe take Luka Jovic on loan from Real? He's a good player, doesn't really get a chance at Madrid. Yes, I would have took him on loan, and we were linked to him and Cavani, weren't we, at the end of the transfer window, when we ended up with Cavani. And Kian says Ronaldo's coming, and Ronaldo coming home would be a dream, says Michael Greca. Well, let's just see what happens with it. But I tell you what, I just want to say as well, I thoroughly enjoyed the video tonight. Really good. They're sort of different on the international break. Lots to talk about, but more in-depth conversation. So I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed last night's show, and I really enjoyed tonight's show. So big up to everyone who's watching live. I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not watching live, please smash a like on the video, but a big shout out to you lot. I've thoroughly enjoyed all of the chat and the comments we've had tonight, and I will see you in the morning show at 10 a.m. Thanks for watching. Smash a like and have a good evening. I'll speak to you soon.